Good morning and welcome to the Renatus Elevate team call. This is your host, Keely Austin. Today is Wealth Wednesday, March 11th, and as of right now, we have 57 participants on the line. Make sure that you reach out to your team. We don't want any ICMs left behind or missing out on these phenomenal trainings each morning. Something I really love about Daine is his style of teaching. He has just a phenomenal way of making his message very clear, and he's so very generous to share with us what works for him and how he's been able to achieve the success that he's experiencing. And I just love that he spends his morning with us on Wednesdays. I'm very, very grateful. A little bit of Daine's background. Before Renatus, he was working 2 jobs. He was working for both Apple and as a roofer. For Apple, he was working in the back. He was actually kind of shy, which really inspires me because I'm a little bit shy as well. And I'm absolutely overcoming that thanks to Renatus and thanks to just going outside of my comfort zone. So that really inspires me to know that Daine used to be really shy because I definitely don't see him as shy anymore. And as a roofer, he ended up doing that because that's what his dad was doing. And with fair skin, being in the sun all day was definitely not working out for him. And at the time, Daine was barely making ends meet. He started to look for other income opportunities. And after finding Renatus and after plugging into the systems, he listened to his mentors and he applied the velocity banking strategy to pay down debt. And then he used that as leverage as a down payment for a duplex. He lived in one side and he rented out the other side. And we fast forward to today. Now Daine has raised over $10 million. $10 million, that's so awesome, from investors to lend on various real estate transactions. And his secret to that is consistency and frequency. He's grown his team. He is a PIT team member, meaning he is in training to be on the PAC, which is the President's Advisory Council with our CEO, Bob Snyder. And Bob Snyder recognizes Daine as a key leader. And we're very fortunate to get to learn from Daine today. Good morning, Daine.
Good morning. How are you doing, Keely?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you. How are you?
Awesome. I'm doing great. Doing great. Good morning, everybody, as well. Happy Wednesday. Wealth Wednesday, baby. Let's do this. So I got a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about today. I got some things I learned over the last 7 days, and I've been dying to share. It's so funny. Every time something cool happens to me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, everybody needs to hear this. Everybody needs to know this. So without further ado, let's just dive in. If you're new to the call, you know that I love hearing from you guys in the beginning. I want this to be interactive, and then we'll wrap it up with some training. So go ahead and just start. Share with me how many people in the last 7 days were you? Yeah, we already got people. Great job, guys. Thanks for starting that right off the bat. How many people in the last 7 days were you able to get to exposures? Were you able to talk to about Renatus? Were you able to do one-on-ones, house tours, proper, intent? Ooh, we had the big intensive on Saturday. That turned out really, really well. I got to go down and see Mark Kohler and a whole bunch of people at the intensive this weekend. Turned out really, really good. I heard we had 1,500 people watching online, and we filled the studio. We filled the studio up. It was really cool. Let's see. I better count my people here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7. All right. Let me come back over here. I had 7. Man, great job, everybody. Who's chiming in here. Okay, 7. Oops, almost put 78. Okay, so congratulations to David and Gilda had 2. Sheena had 5 one-on-ones. Congratulations. You keep that up. That's gonna bring you some combos. Keely had 6. Sarah had 7 as well. Levi had 3. Like, good job, guys. This is awesome. Yeah, Doug, goose egg. Don't worry, Doug. Well, you know what happens when you are honest with yourself and everybody else? It makes you more attractive. Makes you more attractive to other people that because you're honest. You don't try to be somebody you're not. So great job. Success gods are going to grant you something good. Keep on working. Renee had 6. Jacob had 1. Joe had 7. Great job, brother. Rick Steiner, Mark Kohler, 8. 5 to a meeting, 1 follow-up. Great job, Rick. That's awesome. So that's like, 8 plus 5. I can't do head math. What, 13? 14 guests total. Great job, brother. Keely had 7, actually. Not 6. Good job. Rhonda, 5 to a meeting. I was in Salt Lake in the first class with Sandy Girl. Oh, great job. Welcome. Welcome to Salt Lake. Hope you had a good experience. I had to go upstairs and teach that night, so we had Michael Huggins in the house. Alvin had 2. Evan had 2. Amy had 1. David had 4. Doug and LaShawn, they heard me talk about the success gods, and bam, like, watch what happens. Watch what happens when you're honest with yourself. You're more attractive. You're more attractive when you're honest. Because the thing is, like, when you're what do they call that? How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're honest, people see it, right? When I was new and I was trying to be somebody that I wasn't, people saw it and said, "Dang, you're just faking it till you make it." And so I learned how to be honest where I was in my process, and I became more attractive. That's how I went from credibility 0 to credibility 0.01. if you will. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Credibility 0 to 0.01. In just how you say it and how you become honest. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. All right. Tyrone had 2. James Lease had 7 one-on-ones. Attaboy. Attaboy. James Lease is the man. Big time. I look up to that guy a lot. James, if you guys don't follow James Lease, do, because that dude makes money in his sleep. So, all right, let's go ahead, and I love taking the one question, the one Q&A. Somebody, and you know who you are, just come off of mute, interrupt me right now so we can get going on that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I usually like to help somebody that has a question. Maybe you've got somebody that's giving you a little bit of a challenge. Maybe you haven't heard somebody say that before, and you're like, what do I say to this? It happened to me all the time. When I was new, go ahead and just interrupt me. Come off the mute. Let's see, I got one more chat. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you, Doug. And I'm not sure if you guys saw all the technical difficulties. Felt like I was winging it the whole time, but that's all right. I think it turned out okay. Just told some stories. But yeah, come off of mute. You know who you are. If I don't have anybody, then I'm just going to start training, because I got that stuff. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Hello, Daine.
3. David Rainey.
Hey, how you
What's
doing,
up, brother?
So,
Good.
I have you helped me like 2 weeks ago to not bring
Yeah,
up
I remember.
trigger words to make people think it's a cost to the meeting. So I have implemented that change, and it has worked.
Good, man.
So I
Good for
really
you.
appreciate it. Thank you. But
Yeah,
what
my
I have
pleasure. Did you have a question? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So what I have ran into now is I have ran into a couple of high-end, high-earning people, a couple of physicians, and script was really for people who were really needing to earn money, and I stumbled all over my script. So now I don't know how to talk to people who already have income.
Oh my gosh. Dude, you just graduated. This is so cool. Like, this is so much fun for me to watch on my end, because it's like, man, I remember going through this where you've gotten past a little setback and it worked for you, but now you're like, holy crap, there's more people out there than just the ones that I'm using this script on, if you will, right? And so when they make more money, it's a different conversation. That's it. Just a different conversation. And as a detective, and actually I'm gonna be training on this too. So in fact, are you okay if I kind of just roll your question into the training that I have for today?
Sure, go ahead, brother.
Cool. So Tyrone asked what trigger words, and I can't remember what they were, but essentially, if you are getting people to say, "Oh, well, what does it cost?" like right in the beginning, it's not them, it's you. And so if you're saying things like, "Oh yeah, like you can join a group," if I remember right, those were some of the trigger words. You could join a group, or you can be a part of this community, or then it just triggers people to be like, "Oh, what are you selling? This guy's selling me something. I'm onto you. I'm onto you. You're selling me something. What does it cost?" And so you'll notice that I never get asked anymore, because I used to. I never get asked anymore when I'm inviting people down to a first exposure meeting, "Oh, what does it cost?" Right? It doesn't even come up. It doesn't even cause them to think in their mind, "Oh, this might cost something." Okay. So Tyrone, that's what I'm talking about. If you want to go back, I think it was either 1 or 2 weeks ago on my call, we busted that out for David. But anyway, all right. So David, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we are going to talk about this. Okay, and I'll roll it in. I'll roll it into what I had planned. So let me make a brand new thing here. And we're going to draw some stuff. Okay, so this happened to me, and it's so crazy. Like every time I have a breakthrough where I'm like, "Holy crap, everybody needs to know this," it's usually because there's a problem out there, and I saw it, and I was like, "Okay, how do we solve this? Right? How do we fix this?" Notice that the great wealth, or wealth, any wealth for that matter, is created through people who like to create. When they see a problem, they're just like, "I'm going to solve that. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to solve that problem." And those are the people who create wealth, because they allow their minds to go and spend time and energy saying to themselves, "I'm going to solve this problem." Right? So I had an experience this last week, actually several times. And so I'm like, all right, writing's on the wall. I got to solve this problem. And so, because I was running into a bunch of people that I'm working with, they're ICMs, and they're like, "Daine, how do I open the conversation with more people? Like I'm shy, I'm scared. I don't want to be somebody that I'm not. So how do I start talking real estate investing if I just got started? How do I talk real estate investing if I'm just learning? How do I talk and in David's case, how do I talk real estate to people that I am intimidated by because they might be more successful than myself right now? How do I talk to those people? How do I open that conversation? And so you've probably seen me break this down before, but every single person goes from their very first exposure with us to purchasing, in that straight line where they have multiple exposures. Everybody does the same thing. Even the guy that I met on a Saturday and he paid his full $20,000 on a Thursday, 5 days, he still had a bunch of exposures in the middle of that. The rule still applied, the multiple exposure rule. But here's what happens usually. Let me do this. As people are going along, something happens, and we talked, a couple weeks ago with David, where he's like, "Yeah, I'm saying something in the beginning." Like people are just, going off because of something that I'm saying there, where they're like, "Oh, I'm on to you, David. You're trying to get me to pay something, buy something," right? Or they go along a little bit farther and they make it to the first exposure and they're like, and they're just like, nope, I'm not doing this. This is not for me, right? Scary, whatever. Or they make it to the one-on-one. They come to a intensive, whatever. And so people fall off all along the way when you go back and ask yourself, when are they falling off? Why? You know, in fact, I even had this in the beginning of this year, where I had people falling off in my one-on-one, where I could get them to the one-on-one, but for some reason they couldn't close. And so I busted that out, recorded myself, was going back through all my conversations. I'm like, what am I saying? And I figured it out. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I started saying that I had never said before, that people are like not responding to. Okay. So anyway, I want to talk about how to create that intrigue right in the beginning if you're scared, right? This is going to, watch what happens when I share this with you. This is super cool. This is going to cause you to see yourself talking to the people that you are scared of most, right? Let me say that again. What I'm going to share with you today is going to cause you to see yourself and feel confident in talking to and opening the real estate conversation, the real estate investing conversation with people that intimidate you the most, right? All right, so we're going to talk about this. Okay. So David, you asked, well, what do I say to people who are more successful than me, right? Or did you say that more successful than me, or just more successful in general? And maybe help clarify that for me. Okay. But and you're welcome. Just come off and mute and tell me that, or chime into the chat box. I'll check on that later. But yeah, okay, so watch this.
So it was
more successful than you, or just more successful in general?
More successful in general, and my script is really for people who need to become successful.
Yeah, they're looking for an opportunity. Yes. Okay. So, thanks for clarifying. So, as you've probably heard me say this before, and I probably need to do a new training on this because a couple things I've learned more. But as you're communicating with humans, you guys have all heard me say, we are a detective, right? That's all we are. We are not salesmen. We are detectives, right? So every human, and when you are an educated or becoming an educated detective, you'll notice that there are people, when you say the words investing in real estate in front of somebody, it causes a trigger. It causes a trigger where people will respond and say, oh, cool, I love the idea of in real estate investing. I really want to throw money at real estate because I have money and I want to sit back and twiddle my thumbs, right? I want passive real estate. These are not people that say I want rentals, by the way. Let me show you where the rental people are. People that want to buy rental properties are here in what I call the active box, because if you own bricks and sticks, that's active. I mean, yeah, you pay a property manager to make it more passive for you, but still, you got to make decisions. You got to fix stuff. You have to maintain bricks and sticks. The true passive is being a bank. Okay, and so that's how I categorize that. Active is going to be people that want to flip homes, buy rentals, that want to be actively involved. People that want to serve investors. This is your realtors. These are your title agents, your contractors, subcontractors, attorneys, CPAs, inspectors, insurance agents that do property insurance. Okay, so there's your active. Then you've got people like the lady that I'm working with right now to buy her home, going through divorce, and has some squatters in her home. She ended up moving out because of how bad it got. Squatters came from her druggy son and caused her to move out just because she didn't feel safe. And now she's going through divorce with her husband and she wants her house back. And so we're helping her figure that out. Whether we buy it, sell it back to her is probably what we're going to do. But anyway, she has a property problem. Okay, there's the third type of person. If you say the words investing in real estate, then people are going to respond like this. In fact, I'm not sure if the Pittsfords are on the line, but they're doing it. Their first deal right now, they stand to make a large chunk of money just because they became a detective and said the words investing in real estate to the lady that was working for the tire company that they went down to the tire shop. They're changing out their tires at the tire shop, and they say the words investing in real estate, and this lady's like, oh my gosh, I have a house I need to get rid of. And boy, did she. I mean, we're talking dog poop. We're talking, hoarder home. I mean, this property, yeah, of course they wanted to unload that thing. They don't want to clean that up. We do. And so we solved their property problem, okay? And then fourth, I'm calling this one the not ready box. I used to call it the not interested box, but notice how your mindset changes. Notice how your mindset changes when you call people not ready instead of not interested, right? Nobody's not interested. Everyone in this box is just not ready. Because believe me, this happened to myself, myself included. If people are not ready to invest in real estate, life is going to slap them in the face a time or two, right? Think about all the people right now that are like, oh, I don't want to invest in real estate. I'm a business owner. I'm going to start my business. All right, think of all the people right now that are suffering just because of coronavirus. I mean, I talk to business owners every day, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't make any. In fact, here's a real story. The guy drives for FedEx, right? I mean, you would think that FedEx would still be just fine. So he owns a company that has FedEx routes, and he's like, dude, I can't ship anything right now because all cardboard for FedEx comes from China, and there's no cardboard. The stuff is in the warehouse, but I can't pick it up and take it to places because there's no cardboard. And so I'm losing money by the day right now because I can't do my job. I can't run my business because there's no cardboard, right? So imagine all these people right now that are like, oh, I'm too good for real estate. I'm a business owner. I can make 5,000% return, right? So anyway, not ready, slap you in the face a time or two if you don't want to start investing in real estate. But notice all the real estate investors right now, everyone needs a place to stay. Everyone scrimps and saves, and the last payment to go. I met somebody 2 weeks ago where she's like, oh yeah, the car is 3 months behind, the credit cards are 4 months behind, but the house, I'm up to date. I'm keeping my house, right? So notice the mindset of other humans that they pay their shelter, right? Because those main things, food, water, and shelter, they will pay for shelter first. Or in other words, it will be the last to go in a tough spot. Anyway, so real estate investors are having a heyday right now. It's really good for us. Not because we take advantage, but because we can help solve the problem. So anyway, I digress. I didn't want to talk about this today. I just want to talk about the mindset of being a new detective, right? So, and I'd even do this, even though I've been doing this for 4 years, okay? Here's what I learned. If you're new and you don't feel like you have gobs of credibility, I'm going to give you the very thing, because you would do this if somebody asked you to do this. Let's say you were taking a class on economy in college, even high school, I don't care. Let's say you were taking some class on economy or some class on, I don't even care, underwater basket weaving, right? And in the class, they give you homework and say, all right, your homework is to go and do so if you're a new student, I'm just like killing you guys, aren't I? Let's say you're a new student, and they say, all right, your objective is to go and do a survey. To do a survey, 10 people on XYZ, right? So let's say you want to do this in your business, and you want to be a detective, and so you want to just cut right to the chase. And so here's what you do. You go to somebody and you say, hey, I'm doing a survey. I'm taking a class right now on mortgages, right? Let's use velocity banking, right? I'm doing a survey on mortgages. I got to find 10 people that have a mortgage. You have a mortgage, right? You have a mortgage, don't you? Okay, so you ask them, you have a mortgage, don't you? I'm doing a survey. And then you say, so a couple of things. I just watched a real estate investor break down how he paid off his mortgage, paid off investment mortgages, times 4, 5, 6, whichever story you're talking about. I mean, there are so many stories around this velocity banking thing. I'm not sure who I have off of mute here, but let me chime back in really fast. And unless Sherry, you wanted to be off mute on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to here. Okay, so hey, I'm doing a survey. You have a mortgage, don't you? Yeah, I just saw a real estate investor break down how he paid off his mortgage and all these investment mortgages in like 1/3 of the time. By not, and here's the trigger, here's the key. By not using mortgages, but not using mortgages, but lines of credit. Okay. And then you say, so my survey is, I want to know, have you done anything like this? Or let's see, which one would sound better? Have you heard anything? Sorry, have you heard of anything like that? Or have you done anything like that? Yeah, I like done first. Have you done anything or heard of anyone doing anything like this? Bam. You have just begun your survey, right? You just said the words investing in real estate, or you said real estate investor, and you guys have all heard me say, like, when you say it, for you don't want to introduce yourself as a real estate investor. You want to introduce yourself as investing in real estate. But this is fine because you're talking about somebody else. So hey, I'm doing a survey. I'm taking a class. I got to survey 10 people just to gauge, the average of what people know or don't know about this thing that I'm learning. Okay. So you have a mortgage, right? Cool. So in this class I'm taking, I watched a real estate investor break down how he paid off his home or her home, paid off and even investment properties, right? We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point, maybe even millions, not using the amortized mortgage, but instead using a line of credit. Have you done anything like this before, or have you heard of anybody doing anything like this before? And you are going to know right then and there, right? Assess intrigue. And because here's what happens when you do this, right? And I want to hear feedback from you guys, but here's what happens when you say it like this. You don't have to be the expert. In fact, you don't want to be the expert. When I'm doing this, I am at a disadvantage. I've been in Renatus for 4 years. I am at a disadvantage because I know it. I could sit there and probably teach the class word for word, and that puts me at a disadvantage because nobody's going to buy over the phone. Nobody's going to buy at this stage in the process, right? If I sit there and try to if I try to turn the intrigue and all these exposures into one 5-hour meeting that happened on, happenstance on accident because I said some words and they're like, hey, I'm interested in that. And I'm like, cool. And I basically just do all the exposures. I mean, they're not going to buy, right? So I'm at a disadvantage because I know so much now. I got to shut my mind down anymore. And when people, for example, I just, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this till just now, but yesterday I had my uncle and his wife buy Renatus, cards in and everything. And I had my other aunt and uncle buy Renatus, cards in, everything, yesterday. And both of them came, especially the first one came from, they reached out to me. They're like, Daine, what are you doing, man? They reached out to me and they're like, hey, I want to see what's going on. And I could have sat there on the phone and told them everything. But I said, oh, you know what? Because they even told me, yeah, can we come and walk through a deal that you're doing? And I was like, I stopped them right then and there. I said, that's not my system. I didn't say that to them, but that's not my system, right? I want them to see if they have intrigue goes immediately to the first exposure, right? Nobody passes that. I don't want to tell them it costs 20 grand one-on-one. I want them to hear that in a group setting or over a video exposure or something like that, right? And so anyway, you guys get that. Your job is to assess intrigue. If intrigue is good, then you pull out your calendar and you say, holy crap. Go ahead.
Okay. So you said, so I'm trying to develop a system. I would like to develop a system for, okay, if they say no to this, do this, right? So you said if they can't come out to a meeting, like I have people who are really busy in life and they're like, I can't come on Wednesday, I can't come on Saturdays, So then if they can't come to something out, what videos or webinars or what other items are you sending out to them?
I'm so glad you asked. Ask and ye shall receive. Watch this. So if I go to here's a playlist. Copy. I'm going to paste this right here in the chat. Paste. Bam. Cool. So there's that in the chat. Go there. I'll remember to post this to the Facebook group. In fact, Keely, if you've got a second, will you copy that same link and post that in the Facebook live chat as well? So for the people that are on that as well.
Absolutely.
That would be great. Thank you so much. So I'm sorry, who came off of mute? I didn't catch the name. And was asking this question.
It's Sherry.
I guess it doesn't necessarily matter. Sherry. Okay.
Yeah.
So in essence, you're building your list of saying, all right, here's my number one first exposure is going to be the live group, on a Thursday, on a Wednesday, whatever. And you're saying, I need my second, or my second is maybe a property tour. Again, live is most powerful. I'll tell you that right now. But you're looking for that third one to say, hey, if they can't do this, because some people are busy, I'm going to send them a video.
Okay. So what I'm saying
Right.
is I'm saying you can't even get them to the first exposure to a community,
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just making sure.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, they can't come to live. They can't come to a property tour, group property tour. They can't come to intensive. They can't come, all those things. You're looking for the content of the video series to send them to work with them. Then yeah, use the thing I just sent. Michael Huggins is the man, right? The #1 income earning independent contractor in Renatus. for a couple years in a row. We'll see what happens in April. We'll see what happens in April. I got confidence in him. But anyway, then yes, that works. Now, nothing changes here though, right? If you send somebody a video and you did not book an appointment, you just lost money. I'll tell you that right now. If you have a habit of just sending people videos and they are not on your calendar to come to a group exposure, to have a follow-up phone call or a follow-up one-on-one or anything, if you are in that habit of just sending people videos, you're fooling yourself. You're making yourself feel busy and you're losing money if you have that habit. So stop it. If you have to go to the video and you go through this process where somebody's, you got the intrigue, you got to pull out that calendar. You have to pull out that calendar. So let me show you how that would work. So let's, in fact, who wants to role play with me here? Just come off of mute and say, I'll do it.
I'll role play with you.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so, and who do I have? Let's see.
Oh, it's Sherry.
Is it Sherry? Sherry, okay, cool. I thought that was you, but didn't want to assume. All right, Sherry. So let's say that you and I know each other, okay? Yeah. And I'm just reaching out, okay? And I'm not Daine in 2020. Let's say I'm Daine in 2016 when I was brand spanking new, never done anything, okay? And so I call you up, okay? So ring ring.
Hello.
Sherry, hey, it's Daine. How's it going?
Oh, good, fabulous. What are you up to, Daine?
Oh, just doing my thing, living the dream, going, studying stuff, working my job, all that kind of stuff. How about yourself?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, how's the family?
They are great. Oh my goodness, Daine, I'm having another grandbaby. It's so exciting.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Have you already found out if it's a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. Yeah. That's super awesome.
Thank you.
That's super awesome. Well, hey, the reason I was calling, I'm actually taking a class right now in real estate and finance and stuff like that. And one of the items of homework is I need to do a survey. So, did I catch you at a good time? Do you have like 2 or 3 minutes that I could just ask you a couple of questions?
Like you got
2 minutes?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So in this class, we're talking about finance and mortgages and all that kind of stuff. You have a mortgage, right?
I do.
Yeah, cool. So I watched this real estate investor break down how he instead of using a mortgage, he traded in his mortgage for something else, and he paid off his house in like 5 years. And because he wasn't using that amortized, right? You've got that mortgage, so you know that amortization chart where everything goes to interest in the beginning. So he traded in that amortization and he paid it off. And he's been using the same thing to buy investment properties. And he's not using mortgages, he's using lines of credit. So my question is, have you ever heard of anything like this, or have you done anything like this before?
I definitely haven't done anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd be really curious to know if you'd be, I'd be really curious to know or what you think about what I'm learning. Would there be any chance that you would want to come with me to one of my next classes?
When are the classes?
So I'm going, let's see, let me look at my calendar. I'm going this coming Thursday night at 7 p.m. and we'll be down in Sandy. Let's assume we live close to each other. I'll be down in Sandy on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Why don't you tag along?
You know what? I already have something that's scheduled every Thursday.
You got stuff every Thursday? Okay.
Yeah.
let me think. I think I'll have to look at the calendar, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to be doing something on Tuesday. In fact, you know, because you know, some of these guys are real estate investors and they got properties. We'll actually be going to one of the properties that they are doing, you know, investment properties, and they'll be having the class and they'll be talking about what they're doing there. So I think, yeah, in fact, looking at my calendar, it looks like the next one will be going to a property on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. the next week. Could you make that one by chance? I'll be going, and I'd love to have you tag along.
Man, you picked like the days for me that I always have something.
Yeah, shoot. We'll tell you what, is it something that you would be interested in looking at for me?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, assuming that you could make it. Okay, we'll tell you what, I could probably get my hands, on a recording of one of the trainings.
Okay.
So if I were to send that to you,
Mm-hmm.
would you actually take the time to watch it and give me, you know, and I want to talk to you about it because I want to get your opinion on it. Would that be something that you'd be willing to do?
Yeah,
okay.
You know,
when
at my lunch break, I can look at it, or you know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So when could you and I talk? Or when could we schedule a call? When could we schedule a call to talk about, you know, what you'll learn in this? Let's see. Today is Wednesday. Could we talk tomorrow?
I have something tomorrow, but I could do Friday.
Friday? Okay.
Yeah.
Friday would like 10 a.m. or maybe like 5 p.m. after work better for you?
You know, 10:45. Yeah, 10:45 will work.
Okay, 10:45. Yeah, I could do that. Okay, so 10:45 a.m. We'll chat. Okay, so I'll send you this video, and we'll chat at 10:45. It's like an hour. Yeah, it's probably like an hour long.
Okay, that sounds good.
And so you can finish it by Friday, the hour-long video?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Cool. So I'll go ahead and shoot you a calendar invite. What's a good email for you? I actually don't have your email.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Yada, yada,
I'll
yada.
text
Get
it
the
to
email.
you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll send you a calendar invite. And then I'll also send you the video. And then we'll talk about it on Friday at 10:45 a.m.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Daine.
Yeah, perfect. Talk to you then.
Okay.
Bam.
Bye.
All right, questions. And more importantly, I want to either pick it apart or I want to hear from you guys and share with me if you can see yourself doing this, even with people that might be a little bit more intimidating to you. All right, so David, I want to hear from you as well. And can you see how you could do this with somebody that's more successful? Yeah, but anybody else, come off the mute. Let's chat.
So when you say you put it on the calendar, it's just like a regular calendar?
Yeah, literally, I'd go to my calendar and I'd be like, all right, Friday, 10:45 a.m. I'm gonna meet with Sherry and I'm gonna send her a calendar invite. Sherry, what's your email? Sherry's email, bam, and so she gets that calendar invite, and now she gave me her email. And that is the easiest way for me to get people's emails is hey, I'm gonna send you a calendar invite. What's your email? And so bam, and I would literally put that on my calendar. Just like that.
What if we don't know how to do that yet?
Oh, I just showed you. You go to your calendar, you make an event. If you have a Google Calendar, if you've got Yahoo, if you have a smartphone, then you just punch in stuff, and then you scroll down and there's a button that says invitees. And you type in their email right there. Easy. Easy, easy peasy. Do you have a Gmail by chance? A Gmail account?
Yes.
Cool, even easier then. So if you have a Gmail, then this works on Android, this works on iPhone, this works on iPad, this works on Mac, everything, works on everything. You put that in your calendar. You send them a calendar invite, right? So notice what a real estate millionaire's calendar looks like. So let's see. I've got meetings yesterday, Paul and Shalane, right? I sent them invites. I've got this one with Kim and Greg. I sent them invites. Meeting with a guy this afternoon, there's an invite there. Meeting with Matt and Cassie, invites. Even if they don't accept it, right? Priya, having lunch with this guy. This guy's a real estate millionaire. He sent me an invite on this one from Matt Strong. Okay, Stefan, Ryan, invites. Just get in the habit. This is what a real estate millionaire does in their calendar. They send calendar invites. Makes you look like a...
Is that a
What's that?
Google Calendar you're using?
So this is just the default calendar that comes with my iPad. Like, I didn't download it or anything. You can get the Google version of this. I'm not sure if I have it on here or not. I don't believe I do. But it is plugged into my Google, because Daine at DaineClark.com is hosted on Google. For me to log in to that email, I go to gmail.google.com and I log in using Daine at DaineClark.com for that email, right? Because it's hosted through there. Oh, it's already logged in. Right, so here is my Daine at DaineClark.com email.
Did you get that email address from Google, from Gmail?
Yep. If you want a custom domain, then all you have to do is say Google domains. I can't remember what the actual address is, but let's see. It's going to tell us right now. Domains.google. I mean, that makes sense, right? So domains.google.com. And you can buy a professional domain through Google. I think it's like $20 a year to own so for me to own DaineClark.com through Google is like maybe $25 a year. And then I think I pay like $5 a month to have the professional email. So literally it's less than $100 a year for me to have DaineClark.com. Super easy, right? All right, but yeah, we're talking about other stuff too. So let's break this up though, and maybe I'll do a whole training on getting your custom email. Aha moments, pick it apart. How can I help you guys do this in the next 7 days? Say, hey, I'm gonna go do 10 surveys, baby. Go ahead, brother.
Daine, this is Michael Cass. I'm based in St. George, Utah.
Yes.
I travel lots to lots of different cities.
Good.
This is an amazing process right here. I've incorporated this. I'm taking some ATM with Richard Stock. Your suggestions on how to follow up with this, because some of the areas that I'm in, it is not a lack of interest with the people that I reach out and contact. They are amazed at finding out that they can do what we're teaching people to do. But one, they don't have a community near them, and two, I'm not able to follow up with them person to person, which I feel is the greatest asset is one-on-one contact. Suggestions.
Yeah, that's probably where they're going off. Like, and this is why I say, if you're not using your calendar and you're not booking appointments, then you're wasting your time. Like, you're just sending people YouTube videos. Might as well just send them cat videos. Okay. If you're not booking them on your calendar and doing the one-on-one, where you create the intrigue. Here, let me do the rainbow. Kind of click off the intrigue, and they're like, yeah. And you're like, all right, I'll send you the video. So to go from the and you force the video. How do you watch it? No. You say, when can you talk? Then I will send you the video, and you will finish the video before we talk. Okay. That's how this is the only way that I've made tens of thousands of dollars over videos, over using, you know, Michael Huggins intro exposure videos on YouTube. This is the only way. By using my calendar, sending
Michael
them the calendar
Huggins.
invite.
Okay, you just said
Yes.
Michael Huggins intro video on YouTube. So we've got to Google that to look at it to see if that's something we would send somebody. Because
I just sent that in this chat right here.
okay, because I know a couple people have listened to Scott and they said I can't keep listening to that guy, and so I mean, you know, I'm struggling with how
Scott's are good. Michael's are good. All right, everybody's are good, but like you're saying, all you're doing is noticing that not everyone responds to Scott. A lot of people do. I love listening to Scott personally. Every time I hear Scott speak at, you know, either big events or when I went down to Chicago myself and saw him live, dude, I love listening to Scott. I mean, that dude lays it down. That dude knows how to say it. That dude knows how to like just dispel myths and dispel doubts. But like you're noticing, not everybody is going to respond to that. And so now you've got Michael, you've got Scott, you know, so utilize these big leaders that are doing their presentations. And as, you know, again, back to David's concept, you just had an upgrade because you're noticing that not everyone will respond to Scott. Some people do, but not everyone. And so as you assess people, as you begin to learn how to listen, then you'll be like, I'm going to send you Michael's, or I'm going to send you Scott's, or I'm going to put you in front of Scott, or I'm going to put you in front of Michael, or, you know, Jay Abramovitz, or I'm trying to remember all the names, you know, out in Chicago that are doing deals. And, you know, I'm going to put them in front of, you know, people doing deals. Okay. And so you pick the only way to learn this is to try. The only way to learn this is to try and fail. Sorry, anybody that feels like I have to do it perfect, because I just blew up your world. The only way to learn this is to try and to fail. And the cool thing about fail is you don't really fail. They're just not ready, because they'll call you back. I mean, I put in a combo 3 weeks ago that I reached out to 3 years ago, and they're like, Daine's just faking it till he makes it. Yeah, it was frustrating back then, but am I grateful now? Yes, I am. Because they were seeking me out 3 years later. Okay. Anyway, we got to get off. But you guys want to talk about more about this next week? Because I want to hear surveys, right? Let's actually do surveys this next week, and let's see what happens. Okay.
Could I ask
it's
one
9:04 though, so we got to jump off. Yep. Yeah. Go ahead.
Do you ever send Michael's briefing, or do you go straight to the intro?
I never have actually. I usually just go straight to the intro because I've already done basically the briefing. I've basically already done the briefing by prepping them saying real estate investors, by prepping them saying, and I told them that they're going to learn velocity banking, with real estate investing in there. And so I just say, you know what, just give it to them. Make them spend an hour instead of just 15 minutes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cut to the chase. But
Daine,
if all you're doing is if you did less one-on-one time with them, or in the one-on-one conversation, then yeah. If you're just like, hey, watch this video, tell me if you're interested, then sure. But yeah.
How soon is this posted on Facebook?
Instantly.
Hallelujah. Got to watch this over and over again. Thank you.
Yeah. It'll be available within minutes after we close this call.
Thank you.
Cool.
God
all right, guys.
And thanks for going to Chicago.
Yeah. All right, guys. Love you. See you next week. Enjoy doing surveys this week.
Thank you.